on a stage for community events. So it's pretty cool. This is Lisa's daughter, Taylor, and so you can kind of see where where Lisa got some of her, or maybe where Taylor got some of her talent from. Maybe it's from her mother, but I don't really so much. Here we go. Spend a lot of time on listening to a lot of videos. I know there's other important things we can get to. But you kind of get a feel, the kids just have an opportunity to get together to express themselves. I know Taylor writes a lot of her own personal songs, and if you've been to Roundup in the last 2 years, I think she's performed there on stage for the 4-H talent contest. And and this may eventually lead to some kind of career for her. I don't know yet. To be determined, but again, it just gets a group of talented kids together and it gives them a way to express themselves. One little thing that was just noted is if you're driving a 10 Maxima, they need you to move your vehicle. So they're somewhere parked over here that they're need to unload some dirt or something today. So if you have that, if y'all can move your vehicle, that would be appreciated. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, in getting started is to know the categories. Now there are 6 categories within Share the Fun. Used to be 5 forever, but we kind of broke it out a little bit this last year. So solo and band is one that's probably the newest on the list there. And then Celebrate 4-H. Celebrate 4-H is all about just having some kind of skit for kids to do that relates to 4-H. Promotes a good, positive 4-H message. It could be kind of recruiting in nature, or it could be just something lighthearted that is even educational or just whimsical. We've seen lots of different things, and there's some examples later on in the slides that we'll share. Choreographed routines, that's usually some kind of dance routine, or I've seen like karate, would be considered a choreographed routine. Sign language is usually considered a choreographed routine. Musical, that's where a kid is obviously playing an instrument by themselves. There's no vocal whatsoever. As opposed to the solo and band, there is musical accompanying that goes along with that. So for a band, you usually have a singer and then some bandmates that are playing instruments, and solo you may be up there playing a guitar by yourself or a piano, much like a young man did this last year that won in Stick Roundup. He was playing the piano. Poetry and prose is somewhat self-explanatory. The kids usually get in and do a presentation either solo or they can do it with a group as well. But it has to be something that's poetic in nature. Vocal is just you as an individual getting up and singing. And you can have a pianist playing along with you, or you can have a recording that kind of goes along with your vocals. General basic rules, just so you know, if you're a senior category, first and second place are the ones that are eligible to go to state. So if you win first or second at district, then you can move on. Juniors and intermediates, obviously the highest level that they can go is district. It is now, again, a Thursday contest at state. The year before it was a Wednesday, Thursday. But always, just check the schedule whenever the schedule first comes out so that you know
how to plan accordingly for not only that contest, but other contests that the kids may be entered in. Because you don't want to, if you've got a big, large group, getting a Share the Fun presentation together, and it's on Thursday, and you also want to do an educational presentation, then you're going to have to pick and choose, because those are on the same day. Anyway, youth can only participate in one Share the Fun event, so you can only do musical or vocal or whatever your choice is. You can't do more than one. You must use the same material from district to state. You can tweak it, if need be, but it needs to be pretty much the same material that you use. So the same song that you sang at district needs to be the same one that you sing, or very, very, very closely, whenever it goes on the state. There's really no way for us to know that. It's just kind of the honor system. Other than they would know, the people from your district would know, but as a judge from a different district, I may not know that. But anyway, it's just expected. Presentation length is 6 minutes. There's usually setup time of 4 minutes. And again, like I said earlier, you can have some music or CD that's played by a performer. That's allowed. So just be sure to check the rules. There are a maximum of 9 youth per group in each of those categories. So just know that ahead of time. County participation, this is from the Brazos County perspective, where Lisa's from. Typically they have over 125 youth at the county level. That's a lot. that's a good, successful program, if you ask me. So that's they're doing something right there, and so it's something worth modeling after. And so if you can figure out ways to incorporate this, some of her ideas into your program, then by all means run with it. And I know she'd probably welcome any kind of phone calls or emails or anything like that y'all want to send afterwards. Again, for those of you who might have just came in late, Lisa is not able to be with us because she's really sick right now. Volunteer support, team coaching is a great way to start. With anything in 4-H, I would say don't go it alone as a volunteer. Get a couple of you together. Number one, if you're sick and we had a practice tonight, then all the kids that were going to come to that practice would miss out because of that. But if you had a team coach, somebody from a different household, hopefully not your spouse or something, because if you're sick, he or she's probably sick too, or taking care of you, should be. But if you can find a team coach to help you with that, then that'll help with continuity of project meetings and practices and those kind of things. That way the kids don't miss out somewhere along the way. Planning meeting to discuss ideas and form teams. This establishes development of teams, mixes kids from different clubs, and encourages parents to work together. So it's a good idea, I would say, not only to have an adult meeting, but also incorporate some of the kids that have maybe participated in it in prior years. So start building in those leadership components for those older kids. It goes back to some of what we talked about in record books. We didn't hit on it a lot, but if we're not providing those opportunities for these kids, they're not going to have anything to show for it in the record books. So building them into the planning process is important, as well as the back end, of them actually doing the contest and such. That's kind of the gravy part, but we need them, the older kids, to start mentoring and providing input and feedback to help mold the programs. And a lot of times as adults, we think we know what kids want, but a lot of times we really don't. So get their input. Find a way to get them involved. Allow groups to perform at county 4-H events, Relay for Life, those kind of things, club meetings. So it just gets those kids comfortable with being in front of a group before they actually get to the county level contest or the district level contest. You don't want that to be their first time in front of an audience. Something's going to go wrong and they won't know how to handle themselves. And so the more often that they can get in front of a group and stumble and stammer just a little bit with an audience that's not going to badger them a little bit for messing up, then they'll be the beneficiary of that. Project meeting ideas to support project, watch show productions together, tour a theater company, invite teachers, singers, and so forth, and other artists to come and critique.
One of the things that we did at our district leadership lab this year and the year prior is we had a workshop track called it was just theater arts is what we called it, and we brought in a local theater art department from one of the colleges, and last year it was a lady, this year it was a man, and they came over and they led kind of some introductory type get to know you type stuff, and then they eventually built up to where at the end of it all, they put on a skit for the entire leadership lab for us. And so they kind of went from beginning to end all within one day. And so they had a lot of fun with that. But bringing in outside people, you don't necessarily have to be the expert in any particular project or event, especially Share the Fun. If you are, that's great, but there's probably lots of little resources around you. You may have a community theater where you can bring in someone who has that expertise, bring them into that, and let them share their knowledge and advice even. Older 4-Hers, like I said earlier, bring them into the mix, let them help share some of the burden there, but also provide some leadership at the same time. Positive experiences grow the program.